Hey everyone! Today I'm going to walk you through how to set up a self-serve margarita bar. Now this is nothing new, I'm not acting like I invented it. There's a lot of content out there, but from what I've seen, it just kind of feels like it scratches the surface. And what I want to do is give you complete confidence that when you set up your margarita bar for a party or an outdoor gathering, it goes beautifully, you have confidence with it, and everyone loves it. Now, if you start to watch this and you think, ooh, that's a little bit too much for me, I don't have the space, or this feels a little complicated, stick around, because I'll end by giving a second option just to make it a little easier, a little more simplistic, but still really amazing. You might even like it better. So what do you say? Let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you how to set up an amazing margarita bar. All right, first things first is where you'll set up the bar. Now, the easiest place is a kitchen island or a long kitchen table. If you set it up outside, that's great. Get a table that's about 4 to 6 feet long and make sure it's going to be easy to clean up. I like using the kitchen because I have access to the sink to clean up any spills, rinse out the shakers. It makes it a little bit easier. But if you are going to host outside, simply think about how you'll clean and rinse things out periodically. So this is where we're going to host this bar. I would definitely go with using a white paper or a brown paper table covering to set up your bar. I like it so much better because you can write all the instructions on it and really guide your guests through all of the steps to make the perfect margarita. The signs and placards might get misplaced, they might get knocked over. So I think this is perfect. It's a great way to set everything up. We're going to think about our margarita bar in 3 sections. The first section, we really want to think about making that base margarita. What do I need to get the core margarita together in the shaker? The second section is about all the flavorings, all the different syrups or additions that people have to add to that drink and then shake it up. The third section is when people will prep their glass, pour the drink, and then add any additional garnishes. So when we think about it in these 3 sections, you can manage your space a little bit better. So let's go ahead and go through each one in a bit more detail. Starting with section 1, we have our shakers, and I have 4 shakers here. I would plan on maybe 1 shaker every 3 to 4 people, maybe 5 people, but you want to have plenty of shakers there as people work through the line and make their drinks. Bucket of ice, very important, and make sure you have a scoop for the ice. That probably seems really obvious, but at the same time, if people use a shaker or other things to pull the ice out or their hands, it gets kind of yucky. So always have a scoop. And then finally, we have our liquors. So I have this gorgeous Casamigos Silver. If you want to add a reposado, you can do that as well. So you always want to have tequilas, definitely have a silver. Have triple sec, or you can add Cointreau. I think that's lovely too. That's yummy. And then finally, a mixer. Now, I have a recipe for a homemade sweet and sour mix, and I love it. But if you're having 15 or 20 or 30 people, that's a lot of lemons and limes to squeeze. So I have my fresh lemon and lime sour mix here, but if you want to get a margarita mix, one that's pre-made, I think that's fine, or a sweet and sour mix. This one is 0 sugar. You might find guests appreciate that as well. Finally, and I think this is so important, have fresh lime. Even with some of your mixes and things like that, you want some fresh, bright pop of flavor in there, some citrus flavor. Always have half limes and your squeezer. A super quick word on measuring cups. Instead of using a shot glass, I love these little 2-ounce cups. They're from OXO. And especially for something like this, when people are measuring 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces and then a ½ ounce, and maybe different measurements for their syrups and things like that, these are wonderful. I actually use these a lot more than shot glasses, and I think guests would appreciate it too, so they get the right balance of alcohols, mixers, and flavors in their cocktails. And the next section is all of our mixers, all of our different flavors, and this really is only limited to your imagination. So here I have a homemade mango syrup. We have a real spicy jalapeno that's delicious. Strawberry, these are all homemade. You can find these recipes on my website, decadentparties.com. Coconut, have you ever added coconut cream to a margarita? It's delicious. You can add peach nectar, any fruit, any concoction. Just have a lot of good varieties for people to try, and they can even mix them up and see what the different combinations taste like. So have these available, and again, have these little cups so people can measure them out, and it tastes perfect. The other thing I'll mention, these types of dispensers are wonderful for controlling drips. Instead of a mason jar or something larger, see if you can find some type of dispenser that controls the flow of the drink or controls the flow of the syrup and keeps the spills down, keeps it a little neater. All right, section 3 is where we prep the glass and pour the drink. So your guests will have their drink already shaken up, everything's been added, they're ready to go. When it comes to glassware, you've got a lot of options. Of course, margarita glasses, kind of a no-brainer. Mason jars work great as well. If you know you're going to have a larger party and need several glasses, these are fun options. I also like even smaller glasses like this. This is a plastic glass. I also have one this size as well. And I like the idea of a bit of a smaller drink because you're probably going to find guests want to try a few different options. But regardless, any of those are perfect. So you've got your glasses ready, and you might even want to have them behind this runner here because they're going to take up a lot of space. So once you have your glasses out, you're also going to want to have some small slices of lime. And these just need to be tiny slivers because really all anyone is doing with these is rimming the glass, right? So we're just using that to run around. They might drop it in the drink. So don't make these really big or you're going to waste a lot of lime. Once they've rimmed their glass, it's always nice to have a couple of options for rims. We have salt. We also have tahini. This is really delicious on a margarita. You can have sugar as well. Some people like that. I'm not a fan, but it might just be one more option. And if you really want to punch it up, you can get some colored sugar. That would be fun too. And then finally, you have to have your garnishes. So here, I'll show you these. Just a few different options you might want to consider. Jalapenos, of course we have strawberries if you made the strawberry syrup. Also think about fresh herbs. Basil is awesome. Mint is amazing. They add beautiful color and you'll get more of an herbal profile to your drink. So definitely consider this. I love basil in a strawberry margarita. You've got to try it. And now your guest is at the end of the bar. They've made their drink, they've added their flavors, they've put all their garnishes on, and they've got this beautiful margarita that they are going to love. One last little thing you might want to write on the instructions on the banner is to either rinse and return the shaker or just return the shaker. Again, you'll keep an eye on it throughout, but it might be nice just to keep that going so everyone doesn't have to be scrambling to get a shaker. They are going to love it. Once you have everything laid out the way you want it, you know you've got the right space, you have all the steps in place, and you have everything on your bar that you need, then go and write the instructions. That way you don't have mess ups, you don't have the right amount of space. Writing everything on your runner here should be the last step you take. Number 1, if you have a spoon rest or a small plate, use that to put the squeezer on as people squeeze the limes, just so we don't get as many drips and it keeps it a little cleaner. I also added at the top of the runner a small bowl where people can discard their squeezed limes. So people are going to wonder what to do with them. You want a small bowl there. You'll probably also want a second ice bucket at the end. Sometimes people add extra ice, sometimes they don't. But always remember that second ice bucket because people probably will want to fill their glass with ice, I should say, especially if it's hot out. So make sure you've got that second ice bucket. And finally, these cute little stickers I found at Michael's. Find fun little ways to dress up your margarita bar a little bit. You can also use flowers, you could use cactus, find some fun stickers. I think it looks gorgeous as it is, but just find a couple of other things to dress it up. Have a ton of fun with it and let me know how it goes. Okay, as promised, I'm going to walk you through an easier, more scaled down alternative to this full serve margarita bar. Now, maybe you were watching this and thinking, ugh, it feels a little tough because of costs or because of space. Or maybe you just don't want to have full bottles of liquor out on your bar. Whatever the reason, I'm not judging, but there is one way to scale this down and still bring a lot of creativity and fun to the experience. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to remove the part where you mix the margarita, where you're adding the liquors, you're adding the sweet and sour mix, you're adding the lime. You will provide a pre-batched margarita. So it can be in a pitcher, it can be in one of those larger dispensers. You're just removing the part with the shaker, the ice, and then the liquors. The starting point for this bar is that you have the pre-made margarita. Glasses first, ice, margarita mix, and then all of your flavors and mixers. And then your garnishes at the end. So you're still giving people the experience of making their own flavor concoctions, trying different things, but you don't have the space needs, and you can control the alcohol that's being distributed a little bit more. Just as easy, just as special and customized, and I think it's something your guests would also really love. So try it out. If you have questions, let me know and drop me a comment, and I'll see what I can do to help. For many more engaging party ideas, time-saving tricks, and great recipes like this, follow me at Decadent Parties or visit my website, decadentparties.com, because everybody deserves to be celebrated.